Top of the news today, of course, is Solana. And of course, it is an ETF, has been filed by VanEck. We'll break it all down for you. And also look at Solana's roadmap, because there's a lot of projects that are starting to move. There are some very strategic things happening within the ecosystem. My name is Barron. Welcome back into TechPath. I want to thank our sponsor today, and that is Tangem. If you guys are looking at self-custody, this is one of the best self-custody devices out there. It is a card that works in tandem with a wallet app that is absolutely magnificent, very easy to use. Just go over to tangem.com and you can get your own wallet. Slim as a bank card, secure as a bank vault. You can, of course, store, buy, and earn, or transfer and swap thousands of tokens over there. All you have to do is hit that Get Tangem button. It's going to take you to the 3-card set. Make sure and get that one. If you like colors, go with that. But get the 3-card set for the backup. Use our code. It's going to give you a little bit of a discount. One of the best, and I think most secure wallets out there in terms of self-custody. So if you're brand new to self-custody, this is the time to try it. Let's go over to our first clip today. And of course, this is Mathew Sigel talking about the Solana ETF chances. Take a look.
Interestingly, we saw a Solana ETF floated in Canada. I don't think that's coming to the United States anytime soon, do you?
You may be surprised, Scott.
Oh my God!
You may be surprised.
You heard it here first, folks. Yeah, I would be surprised.
Well, this was, you could tell by just the pause in his tone there with Scott of what that turned out to be, and boom, yeah, there you go. Solana, of course, Mathew Sigel right there coming in to announce the VanEck just filed for the first Solana exchange traded fund. Some thoughts on why we believe the SOL commodity is below, and there's a whole slew. And this is something that we have talked about at length about VanEck, is that I feel like VanEck gets it. They get and understand DeFi. They understand the ecosystems around some of these chains, including Ethereum. And I think this is just another potential that is going to only further what VanEck is doing. Another thing to consider, and don't forget, we've showed this before when Mathew has been on our show. Let me kind of showcase their bear and bull case. Here you go. This is the base case for Solana by 2030, around $335 a token, and their bear case, I'll throw that one out at $10. But look at this bull case, $3,200 as a bull case for Solana. Now, that I think it's probably somewhere in the mid-range between 3 and 800 would be my insights, but still looking at so many things that are happening within the Solana ecosystem. All right, so obviously the news of the ETF, you've got Jupe, of course, going out in the area of adding blinks. So this is just going to be another way to extend Jupiter's reach, I think, in terms of social media. If you don't know much about blinks, it's basically a way to put in, similar to a frame, into Twitter. And it's a great interaction and engagement, especially around these communities. I want to go to a clip real quick, because this will explain a little bit more about what Jupiter is doing. Take a look.
Let's do it live, bro. Let's go. It's fucking live. So, all right, let's go. And posted. Bam. All right, now it is live. Let's go. It is a substantial change to the world of Jupiter. No time for an essay. Yeah, guys, let's go. Let's go. All right, what is the headline here for the new J for J proposal? This is a substantial update here.
So first of all, I think I'm proposing a 30% reduction in the Jupe total supply.
Let's just take a breath on this. So removing 30% of the total supply, so basically burning 3 billion tokens is the idea here.
Yes, 3 billion.
Yeah. So the team themselves are taking a 30% haircut.
They get it, right? They understand why the supply is like fat right now. They understand why that might be causing uncertainty among the community. Right? And they are saying, okay, never mind. Okay, I'm willing. Let's do it. Right? It doesn't matter. Right? We do this thing. Done. That's it. You get it, right? If you look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and stuff, right? Like hopefully Jupe, right?
Yeah.
It all comes from having a core base that really understands the goal, the mission, and has a stake in it, everything. It comes from, the value comes from that.
All right, guys, that is something that you would never see in Wall Street. You know, just the way that I think crypto in general and how innovation is happening as a community. That's why I think crypto has been so successful in really attracting in retail investment, which is of course, another big reason why Jupiter exploded. All right, so taking a look at that, you have to kind of consider Wall Street. You know, I think Wall Street would never do anything like the companies in general. This is why I think the crypto community is so powerful in terms of how these communities kind of move projects forward. The other thing is that we're going to see voting in July, that you'll be able to do this with these blinks. This is just showing Blink and some of the interactions and companies that are partnered with them. So this is a big step in the right direction for interacting with communities and moving these projects forward. So huge kudos to Jupiter. Let me jump over here to this topic, and this, of course, is Toly. Talking about this is the way, as Tim Sweeney said, it's going to take $300 billion to build an alternative to Apple, but that's only 20 meme coins. I like that. And what he was talking about was another reason to buy the Solana Mobile Chapter 2 phone, and this was, obviously we know that it was inspired by Bonk in the original, but they are allocating some 5% of their supply, this is Helium, over to Chapter 2 pre-orders. This gets back to the whole concept around how to build communities, how to build value in some of these devices, and I think this is a big one right now. He even goes on to say, can we get a flywheel going of mobile devs that want to incentivize users to basically switch to an alternative platform by giving away digital assets? That would be a huge move for digital developers, especially mobile developers, kind of going forward. That's the difference, I think, with what we will see in the decentralized future of a lot of technology that Apple and companies like that just will not be able to keep pace with. All right, so here was Solana breaking some news on Chapter 2, the pre-order token holders for Chapter 2. And if you guys didn't know, I mean, you can, we'll leave a link down below. I'll show you the score chart here in a minute. But you know, I think we were still up on the top of the scoreboard. But the point being is that there's a lot of growth happening with Chapter 2. Another reason is with Helium Mobile. Let me play a clip for you to take a look.
In terms of Helium Mobile, so today we're at around just above 93,000 subscribers, adding about 150 to 200 subscribers per day. So that's like, say, 60K annualized. To contextualize that a bit, Verizon and AT&T combined did around 550K new subscribers in all of 2023. So Helium Mobile's run rating like 10%, a little over 10% of two of the largest MNOs in the US right now in terms of new subscribers in a year. At what level do you think incumbents in terms of like MNOs and kind of traditional wireless industry, investors outside of kind of like our deep in crypto bubble start to really pay attention and say like, you know, wow, look how many subscribers there are here. Look at the growth rate.
You know, someone like AT&T probably doesn't really have any idea how to target crypto people or talk to them in any way. I think focusing in on the crypto space for a while and really trying to get a stronghold there and lean into sort of how crypto native we are and how important crypto is to what we do. That's, you know, something that we're going to spend significantly more time on. You know, you could make the daily number go up and down easily by just spending more money on marketing, but we're trying to be more efficient than I think the typical model. So we've got a bunch of initiatives coming up that really kind of lean into that.
You got to think about growth in mobile and the potential for a mobile device, wallets, et cetera, that will really, I think, become the new culture of society. And especially as we see uptick, because remember, there's 50+ million wallet holders here in the United States. You equate that to a pretty good density in terms of Helium Mobile's potential to get one of those users, pretty high, and really maybe even could be in line with what some of the major carriers are doing. So that's a big one. If you look at their Dune analytics chart, you can see the growth is just the beginning. I think this is getting ready to see accelerated growth. So I'm watching Helium Mobile as well. All of this, of course, in the Solana ecosystem. All right, so here was a tweet by Helium. And what they're focused on here is the ability to vote and, you know, move the project forward. One of the things that they hit here was coming soon, assigning vote proxies directly via action. Could you imagine kind of being able to kind of guide the future of someone like an AT&T or Verizon, et cetera? This is a big deal. I think this is where you get decentralized compute really being translated into the mobile phone industry. And I think this is going to be a huge opportunity. So another big push forward. Here's the leaderboard right here on Solana Mobile. Remember, 140,000 of these right now. We're up at the top of the board. Make sure and use our link. If you haven't got your Chapter 2 phone, go get one and at least line up for it. We'll see. I shouldn't call it a phone because we don't know for sure if it's going to be a phone. We'll find out. I hope that it's kind of a hybrid device, but we'll see some things, I think, in the future coming our way. Other things to think about is this right here, Lingo. Lingo is now a new RWA-powered rewards ecosystem. Gamified rewards, 400,000 users in a month, partnering with some of the greatest, brands out there. I'll show you a little bit from their website, as you can kind of see. Building with quite a few brands. There's IKEA. We just did a video on IKEA, Starbucks, Netflix, etc., PlayStation, Marriott. I think the thing here, if you look at rewards, and this is the thing I've talked about, especially with some of the bigger companies, is that rewards represent, I think, one of the killer apps for blockchain and where blockchain is going to be going in the future. Here's just some of the potentials here on the team that's involved. So, I mean, this could be a huge shift in the next evolution of how rewards are being done. This was a video that we did here recently on the SEC enforcement, and this was in reference to Hirsch quitting. And remember, he was the guy that was in charge of pretty much all of those actions from the SEC, especially the one that, of course, outlined and hit on Solana. I want to go to a clip real quick that talks about David Hirsch versus Solana. Take a look.
We retained the right and the jurisdiction to allege that Solana or anybody else who we think are issuing unregistered securities violated Section 5 in doing so. So
you're suggesting that Solana is your next target?
We don't use the word target. That's a DOJ use, but DOJ word. But
at what point is the SEC going to say Robux is a security, Nike's NFTs are securities, Starbucks loyalty rewards are securities? Is that the daisy chain that we're going to see following next?
I don't think that's a daisy chain.
All right, so just remember, this guy is gone. All right, so he's out of the SEC, and it's ironic that he just, steps down last week, I guess, less than 10 days, and then VanEck files for a Solana ETF. Was there any timing scenario that plays out here? Yes, of course there is. I think the teeth are starting to come off of the tiger. A Supreme Court strips the SEC of a critical enforcement tool. This is in fraud cases that's out there. And I think this is another factor. You think about the two big cases in the Supreme Court right now for the SEC is how do they control the regulatory front and some of the actions. This was one of their biggest tools where they had this tribunal kind of almost like their own little court for fraud cases. Now all of those cases will be able to go out to jury trial. That is a big pullback on the SEC's power. Is this one of those scenarios where we could see the SEC truly starting to step back away from these kinds of actions? Don't forget, we kind of predicted it right there. Next crypto ETF, we did this a month ago, and we were looking at two ETFs, Solana and XRP. Those are the two. And we think that's probably going to be the flow of it. And of course, right now, it looks like Solana could be lined up. Now, whether or not it gets approved, we'll find out. But hey, listen, we're getting close there. I want to go to a clip here that explains a little bit more about whether or not XRP's ETF could be in the cards. Take a look.
Ripple's in a position where we can serve a lot of enterprise use cases for finance. I think it would be very sensible for someone to launch an XRP ETF. XRP has been, trading as one of within the top 10 for how long? Maybe its entire life. And on the top exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken, it's certainly in the top 5 of daily volume. Oh, the other factor there, because of the court's ruling last year, XRP and Bitcoin are the only two crypto assets in the United States with clarity from the government.
All right, so I think that is, Monica's talking about that in the sense that, yes, XRP could be lined up for an ETF and most likely will make its way onto the ETF news for filing. So I do still think that's going to be the case right now. Looking at some of the charts right here is the mobile token. This, of course, is all of this, I think, is going to be positive news with what's happening with Solana. Of course, mobile up almost 28% on the day. If you look at Jupe also up slightly. What has been it over the week? If we go back down here, what are we up around? 16% right now. Jupe on the day at around 9%. And then, of course, if you take a look at Solana coming in on this news, getting really some pretty nice candles leading into this interesting timing where on Monday we started to see the green candle recover. And, of course, Solana up now back up to 148, getting ready to what looks like could trade into the 150s very soon, right there at 17%, just in the last 2 days. So All of ours eyes are still on a lot of the projects and ecosystems within Solana. We'll continue to report on this, get you guys a full rundown of all that stuff. And if you're not in our Diamond Circle, make sure and get in on that. It's one of the best places to get additional content. We've got some cool surprises coming for you, including an airdrop, which is our airdrop summer program. Make sure and use our link down below, and you'll find out how to do that. And of course, if you're not following me on X, just do that. It's @PaulBarron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.